I would say what inspired me to become an advisor was my advisors in high school. I had never really thought of FFA as being an opportunity for me. I didn't even know what it was. And so when I started school at Rochester High School, my advisors just made it sound very interesting and gave some great opportunities to do something that I had never really done before, and I thought it was a great idea. So I wanted to share that with other people.
My ag teacher, Mr. White from Kennewick, inspired me to become an ag teacher after letting me teach a floral lesson to my horticulture class. I always wanted to be a teacher, never knew what kind, but decided ag teacher after successfully teaching a floral class to kids who had never touched flowers other than planting.
What inspired me to become an FFA advisor is my dad is a former FFA advisor and ag teacher, and also Steve Charmberg was my high school FFA advisor and ag teacher, and they both inspired me. Plus, I love the passion of agriculture and being in rural setting, and wanted to continue that leadership and agriculture education in other schools.
What inspired me to become a teacher was when I went to college. My degree area was in animal science. I actually finished both my degrees in animal science. But while I was working on my master's degree, I was working as a graduate assistant, teaching students in the agricultural department, and then also working with grad students, teaching them how to do research and other things. And that kind of inspired me to become a teacher. I liked that aspect of teaching. And then when I moved here, from Texas, the animal industry is not as strong here as it was down there, and so I was looking for other ways that I could use my degree program, and decided that teaching was really where I wanted to be.
What inspired me to become an advisor was my own advisors, Mr. Pyle and Mr. Finch. I think they helped find something that I could be successful at in high school and pushed me to be the best I could be. And as a result, I did really well with FFA stuff in high school and found something I was passionate about. There's still two people that I go to for advice from time to time, and I stay in contact with on a regular basis.
Two things inspired me to become an FFA advisor. The first is that my dad was an ag teacher and FFA advisor, so I spent my entire childhood growing up around this. And the second was I was a kid who hated school, and my ag class was the one class where I had a spot that I belonged, and I wanted to come back and be able to provide that for students who maybe felt the same way about school that I did.
I would say the advice I would give all FFA members is to really get the most out of your time that you can here, and set yourself goals, and really work towards being successful, because you don't get this time back.
A piece of advice that I would give to FFA members is to follow your passion and your dreams, but also realize that leadership and being able to communicate your thoughts and ideas is essential for your success. Additionally, always love and know that agriculture is an essential part of your life, but there's a lot of other careers that can build upon that, and as long as you have the leadership skills and communication skills, you can do anything you ever want.
I think that I would tell them to try new things and work really hard at them. I've never had a kid come to me after they graduated in high school and say, Mrs. Baser, I wish you wouldn't have asked me to try that, or I wish you wouldn't have pushed me so hard. But I've had a lot of kids, both FFA members and non-FFA members, that have come up to me and said, I should have listened to you. I should have tried those things, and I regret it. So try new things, and I don't think you'll regret it.
Try all of it. Try every single activity that you can, maybe not all at once, because then we get overwhelmed, but even if you are not a kid who would want to maybe do poultry judging, try it if your advisor can coach it, if you guys have the resources. Give a speech, go to the community service event, just try a wide variety of things, and don't put yourself on such a narrow path that you don't get to see everything else that FFA has to offer.
I would say I'd be a food scientist, because that's always interested me since I figured out it was a thing when I went to WSU. And then it would be very interesting just to be able to see how you can come up with these new types of products that we have today.
That is an interesting question, because as I get closer to retirement, I always thought it would be fun to have a second career. I would love to be a forester, or get into industry where I'm marketing and promoting and really working on some of those essential skills with other employers. So either it would be in manufacturing and HR, and or education and or the forestry industry.
My training is actually in animal science, and for several years I was a breeding farm manager for large horse farms, and that's probably what I would want to go back into if I was not a teacher.
I think all my FFA kids have done something in their own unique way to impact me and have me become a better advisor. I've been lucky enough, I'm only 5 years teaching and I have had 2 state officers, Pedro and Haley Gilman. So those two, and watching them grow from the shy little kids that I saw them as sophomores or 8th graders if you're Pedro, to being the leaders they are now, really impacted me as an advisor.
We first instituted our Farm for Kids program. We did it as a kind of a teaching program. We were requested to help out with a fall harvest fair, and the kids really got into it. And we started out with just a small group, a group of kids that really wanted to be teachers, elementary school teachers, and they picked up on this and they kind of ran with it. I kind of let them do all of the thing, and to see their excitement, that really pushed me to include that and expand that project into something more. We're able to get those kids to want to compete. None of those kids were interested in that previously, but to be able to take this project into something bigger was really a big inspiration for them and for me.
It is really hard to narrow down just one thing that a student has done to impact me, because frankly, some of my students, getting just the fact that they get to school every day is a harder task than I could ever imagine. So them sitting in my seat is impactful because I know that their story is a really hard one. One thing I've seen that a specific student has done to impact me is they have taken their SAE and they have decided to turn it completely into a community-focused SAE. They started one direction and they decided to turn once they saw a need in our community that needed to be filled, and they started putting others first ahead of themselves, and that really inspired me to do more stuff like that with my classes when it comes to projects or FFA activities that I encourage other kids to go into.
I would say something that makes our chapter unique, maybe not completely unique, but definitely different than many others in Whitman County especially, is that the percentage of people that are directly involved in agriculture is very small. We have a lot of people in a lot of different areas, but still FFA and agricultural education has a great value to them, even without being directly related to production agriculture themselves.
I think our Elma FFA chapter is unique because we embody team. We embody the spirit of camaraderie, of all means all, and that everyone is included, and we really try to make sure we have a variety of activities that suits a variety of learning styles and passions, and have fun. I mean, I think our chapter, I think we have fun.
Some of the things that really stand out to me are our metal art contest. There's not really another person in the state. There are other organizations around other states that do it, but not really in our state. I also think about the rabbit breeding program that we have on our campus. That's not something that a lot of schools were doing. And then our chicken egg sales. I'm not sure how many chapters actually sell chicken eggs on their campus when they raise hens, layer hens. And we've been able to do that, and the kids have been able to pick that up as an SAE, which is kind of cool.
Something that makes my chapter unique, or at least the last chapter I taught in, was lacrosse was really small. Like, people think they went to a small school, but we averaged about 25 students the time I was teaching there, and we had about 20 on our FFA roster. So I think that makes us pretty unique. I was lucky that kids wanted to do FFA, and even though they were pulled in a lot of directions, put a lot of time into it. And I was lucky in the quality of kids that I had in lacrosse. So I think just our size was what made it unique.
We have a junior high officer team, so we have 2 junior highs and a high school, and the 2 junior highs have their own officer team between the 2 of them, and they help us with all of our events and planning for the year.